This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Okie dokie, Abuja, look at you having a pleasant weather today. I mean, I bet you loved the idea of just rolling out of bed and then just hear the sound of rain, splash, splash. If you don't have an early start to your day, fantastic. But then if you have to be out, particularly in the open or just hurry up somewhere, it might be a tad frustrating for you. Me, I didn't quite have an early start, so I enjoyed every bit of the morning rain before I set out. But in all of it, weather is pleasant, the day is good, and I hope that all your hustle, legitimate hustle that is paying up well. Thank you so much for staying with your passionate radio, 95.1 Nigeria Info. It's yours truly, Kimberly. Wachuku. Call me the Oracle, the digital Oracle, the fellow, or Chanya one, Madam Speaker. And I will say yes, yes, yes to all of them. I'll be here till 7ish on Hard Fact and would have a great time together. I promise you. All right, so we'll start off with the big stories, driving conversation. Yesterday was a media chat with the FCT minister. And yes, there was a lot of talk where there's some of the stories that perhaps we'll take a deeper look at and unpack them a little on the big three today. Another 4 o'clock hour. Perhaps some of you will have interesting story to share about, civil servants and what they can actually afford today. And we're going to ride on a particular story where the National Orientation Agency was teasing a man and says, stop saying these things about civil servants that they can afford a brand new car. But that's going to just be one out of the many elements of the stories we'll be looking at. So stay close to your radio for that. But I've got my guest with me in the studio, comfortably seated, I hope. And you can join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Nigeria Info Abuja. Facebook at Nigeria Info Abuja on YouTube, and leave your thought there. I've got with me in the studio Mr. Aondona Ingya.
Yeah.
He's a journalist.
You got it spot on today.
I got it spot on. Good. Thank God for that. Thank you so much for making our time to be on the show today.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here and hang out with you on radio.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Now, there are a lot of things to look at from the media chat which happened yesterday, but, there's some of them that we might want to pay a little attention to. The political aspect, maybe not so much as to what he said about the FCT, but let's look at the politics of things. First of all, I don't know if you've seen billboards around. I was driving to church on Sunday and I saw one, door to door, Tinubu for 2027, and I saw about 3 of them strategically positioned. So he just set the mood for the election in 2027 already. Now, the minister, the FCT minister, that is, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, during his media chat yesterday, just openly came out and said, see, I am an asset. I am an asset for the re-election of Bola Ahmed Tinubu 2027 re-election campaign. And naturally, you should know that should generate a lot of ripple effects and reactions, particularly from the opposition. And we're getting camps like PDP, the New Nigerian People's Party, Coalition of United Political Parties and others, criticizing the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory for openly declaring his plan to lead President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election campaign. Now, in response, the party's national youth leader, Timothy Osadolo, urged Nigerians to disregard the minister's comments, stating that the party would soon enforce its rule against the minister. The CUPP Publicity Secretary Mark Adebayo labeled the FCT minister as the president hatchman, accusing him of working to dismantle opposition party. The NNPP asserted that Tinubu will be defeated in 2027 despite Wike's endorsement. But first of all, it does sound like an endorsement, right? When you say, I would help with this. Does it technically come off as that?
I mean, it's subject to different interpretations, but I don't think it's necessarily an endorsement. You get? I recall that just a couple of weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago, there was this APC seminar that was held at the presidential villa where the party, endorsed unanimously endorsed President Bola Tinubu for a second term.
Yeah.
And I raised that issue up with one of his spokespersons talking about Daniel Boala. And in his defense, what he said was that endorsement had nothing to do with the president. It was strictly an internal affairs. And I quote him by saying that one of the things he said in that interaction was that there were certain indices with which President Bola Tinubu expected that he should be measured at. And then as a party, they came together to put all of those together. And then they felt, okay, yeah, you're doing a great job so far. So yeah, we're all behind you for 2027. But like I said, it is subject to the interpretation of, we can see this whichever way it is. Because for me as a Nigerian, when I first heard all that was said at that seminar with the APC governors forum openly endorsing him, technically that seemed like an endorsement, you get. So it was only normal that everyone who is associated with the APC and with this administration will follow suit. So with the declaration of the comments by Wike yesterday, for me was really no surprise. I saw that coming because, as you know, he was not present at the APC summit. That would have confirmed that you are now, or he is now, the bona fide member of the APC. As a matter of fact, when we went to cover that story, quite a number of us were looking forward to see if
he was going to be there.
Going to be there. Just some heightened expectation. But we knew it wasn't going to happen. But then he wasn't there. And then with all of that, I personally knew that it was only a matter of time. And then we'll see a Wike speak on that issue as well.
Indeed. And he spoke boldly, courageously. Like he said, it takes courage to do certain things that he's done in the federal capital. And
but he has freedom of speech, doesn't he?
Well, and don't we all technically have it?
Yeah.
Even though you expect some bit of political correctness, but there are certain people who just do not understand. See, this is what I intend to do. Even though he's in the PDP saying, I'm going to support this man. And he did it in 2023. And he says, I'm going to stay consistent. I will do it in 2027. Now, the thing is, you're getting people who are vexed, particularly those who are in his party, the PDP. And they just can't wrap their head around how you are still here and boldly saying all of this, even though we understand all of the internal wrangling that is going on within the PDP itself. So it feels like that is going to be the trajectory from now to 2027.
Kim, when you look at the People's Democratic Party, and I say this with all sense of responsibility, the PDP is a classic example of what a political party should not be. You get, and I say that with every sense of responsibility and every level of respect to every member who is, everyone who is a member of the PDP. But that's just the situation. Yeah, you were at the helms of affair in the country for a couple of years. 12 or 16? 16 years.
16 years, yeah.
And then one would have expected that you lost an important election. But one would have expected that immediately you focus on rebuilding and be that formidable opposition that one would have expected. But we've not seen that till date. As it stands right now, Nigerians we don't have an opposition. And it's not the fault, and I beg to differ on this whole argument that it's the fault of the APC. It is not the fault of the APC. I mean, it's politics for crying out loud. The opposition will always, or if you're opposing camps, the other party will always want to have one ahead of you. So if you're unable to put your house in order, you shouldn't blame the ruling party for doing that. You get what I'm saying? I would have thought that way before now. And this is